it could be a male or a female, that would be responsible for asexual reproduction. Whereas in the case of the sexual reproduction, both the male and the female will equally be responsible. Now, as far as the asexual reproduction is concerned, no gametes are formed, no gametes are fused. Whereas when we talk about sexual reproduction, so it is biparental, right? Two parents are involved, and here the gamete formation also takes place, and the gamete fusion also takes place. So the first kind of reproduction that we will be studying about today is the asexual reproduction. This much is clear to everyone, right? Clear or not? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Now talking about the asexual reproduction. Now, like I told you, asexual reproduction is the one which is uniparental. Now, furthermore, in the case of asexual reproduction, if we want to talk about some of the technicalities, so see, since no gamete formation or no gamete fusion is involved over here, so all the gametes, like basically all the offspring, meaning the result of the reproduction, they are going to be the exact copies of their parents, the ditto copies of the parent, meaning there will be no change in them, none whatsoever. So what are we going to call them? We're going to call them as clones. Okay, clones are those organisms that are the exact copies of their parents, meaning their older generation. Is it clear, students? So talking about asexual reproduction, so it is the kind of reproduction in which the new individuals are created from one parent and it does not involve the production and the fusion of gametes. As a result of asexual reproduction, clones are generated. Talking about what are clones? So we have the clones are those organisms that are the exact copies of their parents. They are genetically and morphologically similar, meaning similar in terms of physical features as well as the genes. Now, talking about the different types of asexual reproduction that we have in our syllabus, types of asexual reproduction. So the first one that we have to study is the fission. The first one is fission, in which there are further two types. Binary fission, and then there is multiple fission. Two types of fissions are there, binary fission and multiple fission. Now, after the fission is done, then there's budding. There's budding, then there's fragmentation. Okay, there's fragmentation, then there is regeneration. Okay, so budding, fragmentation, regeneration, we also have vegetative propagation. So all of these are the different types of asexual reproduction that we would be have to, studying in this particular chapter. So talking about the first one, that is fission. So basically, in the case of fission, the organism is basically going to split into two cells. But before that happens, their genetic material, meaning their DNA. First, the DNA is copied, meaning like if one set of DNA is there, another set of DNA is made, and then the cell divides. So in the case of binary fission, what we see is that the first, the genetic material, that is the DNA, that is going to divide, and this is going to be followed by the division of the cell. Now, when we talk about the binary fission, so it takes place mostly in the favorable conditions. Favorable condition means all those conditions wherein there is enough space, enough food, enough, you can say the nutrient availability and everything that is provided to the organism. So whenever there is favorable, you can say condition present, in that case, fission happens. Now, favorable condition refers to the availability of oxygen, availability of space, nutrients, and all. Now, this picture right in front of you, you see the picture of binary fission that takes place in the case of amoeba. So, you see how first this is the parent cell and this is the genetic material of the parent. Furthermore, the parent cell's genetic material is going to elongate, sort of like start dividing or start distributing into two. It will reach the opposite poles like this, and then in the cell will be divided and ultimately form two daughter cells. So when we talk about binary fission, best example is amoeba itself. Furthermore, always remember at the end of binary fission, two daughter cells are made. Okay. First, you people write down this much and then we'll continue. Okay, wait, students. Let me finish the fission part first. Okay. Wait. So I was talking about fission. Did you people understand this thing wherein the DNA divides and then the cell divides? Is this much clear?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Is it clear to everyone? Umair, Afri, clear to you also? And Ritvika, then Abdullah, please switch on your video, students. Everyone switch on your videos. For 1 hour, you people can keep your videos on. Switch on your videos, everyone, quickly, quickly. So we were talking about the binary fission. So here, two daughter cells are made. Now the next thing that we have to discuss is multiple fission. Now see, when we talk about multiple fission, so here from one cell, multiple spores or multiple daughter cells are being made. So what is multiple fission? It is a type of asexual reproduction in which the parent cell is going to divide into multiple daughter cells. And the only difference is that, the major difference is that mostly the binary fission takes place at it takes place at the favorable condition. Whereas when we talk about the multiple fission, it mostly takes place during the unfavorable conditions. So the parent cell is there, the nucleus, like one nucleus is there, then it undergoes like a very tough layer forms around the parent cell, and that is called as the cyst. Now, inside the cyst, that one nucleus starts to divide in multiple nuclei. And then, when the cyst is going to break, the multiple nuclei, meaning the multiple daughter cells, they are going to be liberated. So, this is multiple fission, which results into the formation of multiple daughter cells from one parent cell. So during the unfavorable condition, the parent cell forms a protective cyst around itself. Now inside the cyst, the nucleus starts dividing repeated. It keeps on dividing and dividing and dividing and thereby form many daughter cells. Now they get surrounded basically with a lot of cells. Now when the favorable conditions are returned, then the cyst is going to break and then all the daughter cells, like multiple, however many there are, they will be released. Is it clear, students?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Then they get surrounded with cells. So this was about the multiple fission, which comes under the one type of fission, right? So fission is basically of two types. We have binary fission, we have multiple fission. Now this binary fission, it takes place in the case of paramecium, it takes place in the case of amoeba, whereas the multiple fission, it takes place in the case of plasmodium. Is it clear to everyone? Does anyone have any doubts?
No, ma'am.
No.
Okay, very good. Moving forward, talking about the next type of asexual reproduction, that is budding. So if you see in this particular picture, this is a normal parent cell and then suddenly an outgrowth develops on its body. That outgrowth is called as a bud. Slowly, that bud starts developing and it remains attached to the parent cell for a long period of time. And then after that, it gets detached from the parent and becomes a new cell. So this is a new cell, a new organism forming from the body of the parent only. So how? Budding is a type of asexual reproduction in which a small cyst-like structure called as the bud that is formed on the parent's body, which gives rise to the new individual. So this bud can either remain attached to the parent forever, such as in the case of yeast, and sometimes it may separate and become a new individual. That takes place in the case of hydra. So there are two different ways. Either the bud will remain attached to the parent or it will separate and become the new individual. So basically, when we talk about the budding, so it takes place with the help of an outgrowth called as the bud, which develops on the parent's body, not inside, on top of it, outside. Budding is clear to everyone. With diagram, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then comes regeneration and fragmentation. Now, regeneration means to regenerate, to grow something back again. So, regeneration, it is a process of growing back the lost organ or body part by the organism. Such as you might have seen in lizards, they have their tails cut sometimes because of accident and then they grow their tail again. So, that is the power of regeneration that is found in the case of lizards. On the other hand, fragmentation is when the organism gets, like for example, regeneration. Here, the organism is going to get broken into several parts. Each of these parts are going to grow into a new individual, or the broken part can regenerate. Whereas when we talk about fragmentation, so this is a process wherein as soon as the organism matures, the body of that organism gets broken into several fragments and each of those fragments grow into a new individual. So the regeneration mostly happens in the case of lizard, it happens in the case of planaria, but the fragmentation most importantly happens in the case of Spirogyra. Is it clear, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now if I ask you people that I've taught you regeneration, I've taught you fragmentation, what is the major difference in it? How are they different from each other? Who can tell me? Regeneration and fragmentation, how are they different?
Regeneration is like it grows a body part when it's lost, but fragmentation is like the lost parts will grow into a different whole organism.
Now, for regeneration also, if I take planaria, if I cut it into 5 pieces, those 5 pieces are going to grow into a new planaria. Same thing happens in fragmentation. So how are they different? Anyone?
Ma'am, like the lizard's tail become a lizard?
No, lizard's tail won't become a lizard. It will stay attached to the lizard. But there are other organisms that reproduce by regeneration. So for them, like planaria, if you cut planaria into 5 pieces, each of those 5 pieces are going to develop into new planaria. Whereas in the case of Spirogyra, which reproduces by fragmentation, so there, if you fragment it, okay, so no, upon maturation, it gets fragmented and then it becomes the whole new organism. So how are these two things different? And why, if they are same, then why are they discussed separately?
Fragmentation happens by itself.
Fragmentation is a routine procedure. It's a procedure as in whenever the organism will mature, then this will happen. Whereas when you talk about regeneration, it's like by chance. If you cut it, then it will happen. But normally that organism is not going to reproduce like that. By chance, if it happens, then it's going to regrow. So that's the major difference. So what is the difference between regeneration and fragmentation? See, both are the forms of asexual reproduction or repair mechanisms in living organisms, but they differ in their outcome and the extent of body part involvement. Fragmentation involves the breaking of an organism into multiple pieces, each of these pieces developing into a new independent individual. Regeneration, it's like a property wherein regrowth happens, which may or may not result into new organism. Like in the case of planaria, it forms new organism. But in the case of lizard, it doesn't. Right? But in fragmentation, always new organisms are being formed. So regeneration, it is the ability to regrow, whereas fragmentation is a routine procedure. Remember this always. Is it clear, students? The major difference in between these two things are clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So that is the case of regeneration, and this picture is depicted showing the regeneration in the case of hydra. Now, the next type of asexual reproduction is spore formation. Now, organisms, more importantly, the fungus, they make spores that can grow into new individuals. Now, the spores, they are made inside a structure called as sporangia. Okay, so if you see over here, this is a picture of a mushroom. Mushroom is a fungus. So, on the cap-like portion that there is, under that there is the sporangia present, which is the fruiting body. Inside the sporangia, spores are formed, and when the spores are, dispersed, meaning liberated, they will germinate under suitable condition and form a new fungus. And then the sporangia is going to form. So this thing keeps on happening. So when we talk about spore formation, so it's basically, they make spores inside the sporangia or the fruiting body. And when the spores, they get the suitable conditions, the favorable conditions, they are going to germinate and begin to grow. So when we talk about spore formation, it is also known as sporulation, and it is a process of asexual reproduction where the organism produces specialized single cell structure that are called as spores. And as soon as you provide them with the suitable condition, they will form new fungus. Now, these spores, they can develop into new individual without needing to fuse with another cell. Right? They don't need to fuse. They don't need any other cell. So that is why they are a part of asexual reproduction. Is it clear? All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Now you will note down.
Ma'am, you can scroll down.
Everyone's done till here. Shall I scroll down, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, done.
Everyone's done till here, students. Shall I scroll down?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Ma'am, done.
Everyone's done? Hmm?
Yes.
Okay. Also, students, all of you must draw the diagram. So if you need me to scroll near the diagram or zoom it, then tell me, okay?
Ma'am, should I write the thing in the right side also?
Yeah, definitely. 100%. Done, students?
Yes, ma'am.
All of you are done?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
No, I didn't finish.